We are already busy with our definitive feasibility study. We will have the front end part of that study complete in the first quarter of next year, and just the final stage separation at the back end. We'll complete that portion of the DFS a little bit later.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is George Bennett. He is the CEO of Rainbow Rare Earths. And George, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good to have you along, especially you put out news about your year-end financial results, and we'll sort of get to that in just a little bit about where the company's at, which is some positive news this year. But you also provided a bit of a corporate update on what's been happening over the past year, and it's been a very busy one for sure, George. Maybe let's start with the project itself. Give you some thoughts on where project is at and some of the things you were able to accomplish this year.
Sure, our flagship project is the Phalaborwa project here in South Africa. And this is where we have developed a flow sheet to economically extract rare earths from phosphogypsum waste residue. This was the result of phosphoric acid production process on a site run by Sasol, the big chemical conglomerate here in South Africa. And we've successfully been able to do this over the last year.
Yeah, so you've been able to produce two valuable products with your pilot plant, and that's the key part of it that can be expanded into the commercial side.
Well, yeah, and we initially proved that on a large-scale pilot plant, which will be easily to do on a commercial scale, is to produce a mixture earth carbonate, which is your first stage of beneficiation in the rare earth space. Because your first stage in the rare earth space is producing a mixture earth concentrate, similar to Mountain Pass do in America right now. They are now going one step further down the line into mixture earth carbonate. They haven't achieved that on commercial scale yet, but they are going to go there. And Rainbow similarly was successfully produce a mixture earth carbonate at the low cost of end of the cost curve. And we've successfully done that, which is the first step in de-risking Rainbow. So if we decided to stop there, we would be a profitable company. We're going one step further. We're going to produce what's known as separated rare earth oxides, and that is to sell to metal manufacturers in the West, and he'll turn into metal alloy and then sell to permanent magnet manufacturers, which is key to the energy transition happening in the West right now, in fact, happening globally.
In fact, George, you've been having discussions with off-takers right now for agreements as well in preparation for that work.
Correct. Well, as I mentioned, separated rare earth oxides, we've been able to achieve a 96 to 97% purity. We are intending to go up to 99+% purity. And this is the purity level that we are looking to achieve for our offtake discussions. We have established that at 96, 97% purity level, we will still have buyers for this product. We will just suffer a slight discount to the separated rare earth oxide price based on 99 to 99.5% purity, but still a saleable product. So once again, a further de-risking step for Rainbow. But Rainbow not stopping there. We've announced that we are moving our pilot plant that's been operating in Florida in the USA to South Africa to re-establish it in South Africa to do our final stage optimization to get to the 99% purity level.
Yeah. And George, from what I understand, that all that's supposed to happen by about 2027. So give us some thoughts on the work that's still ahead. Obviously, the moving the plant is a significant one. So is that sort of your focus over the next year and a half?
No, so I mean, the pilot plant is actually it's quite a small footprint. It'll fit into a 20-foot container. That's underway at the moment as we speak. Once that's here in South Africa, we'll reassemble it and we'll do the optimization to get us from 96, 97% purity to the 99+% purity. Once we've done that on the neodymium and praseodymium, we're going to focus on terbium and dysprosium, who are very critical rare earth elements that the whole world is chasing even more than NdPr at the moment. And we expect to have that have achieved that within 6 to 9 months, and our DFS complete next year. We are already busy with our definitive feasibility study. We will have the front end part of that study complete in the first quarter of next year, and just the final stage separation at the back end, we'll complete that portion of the DFS a little bit later. And our target is to be in construction in 2026, and we'll be in production in 27. Moving the pilot plant to South Africa has resulted in a delay in the final DFS. But as I mentioned, we originally were going to be in target to be in production in 2027. and we'll still be in production in 27, albeit a little bit later than what we originally targeted. The key thing about the DFS is that we'll be dropping out an interim report in the beginning of December, which will footprint the economics and the capex of our plant very close to DFS levels, and that we think is going to enable us to kickstart debt financing discussions with the project finance banks, which we have numerous project finance banks waiting to talk to Rainbow.
Yeah. And I should mention that, as I said, your year-end financials, and it shows a healthy cash balance as well. So it sounds like you've got some runway in order to get a number of these things that you want to do over the next year and a half to 2 years. You've got some runway to do that.
Yeah, no, we've got enough to complete the DFS, including the back end part of the DFS. And we were funded well into the last quarter of 2025. And, part of once we have the DFS complete, we have a commitment from the DFC, that's the Development Finance Corporation in America, out of Washington, committed $50 million via TechMet, the Critical Minerals Fund, into Rainbow's Phalaborwa project for rare earth separation. So we have the US government firmly behind us. They have a $50 million equity commitment, and we're very excited about this with the US government.
Absolutely. George, thanks so much for the update. Really appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work ahead, but you're up for the task, and appreciate your time today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on your show again.
All right, there's George Bennett, the CEO of Rainbow Rare Earths.